Welcome back to another edition of Everything Football 62. I'm your host, John, the Big Tex Johnson, a.k.a. Uncle Tex, a.k.a. Professor Tex, and whatnot. Hey, man, got any, smash the like button, subscribe to the page, share with a friend. Got any comments or concerns, leave them down below. We'll talk about it. And like I say all the time, keep it respectful. It's just football. Hey, man, what's up with this Russell Wilson hate? I mean, really, what's up? I did a show, I think a year or so ago, whatever, when Shannon Crowder was talking the shit that he was talking and stuff like that and whatever and all that. And even he said he wanted his daughter to date Shannon Crowder, this, that, and the other. Date Russell Wilson. He's a good guy, da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, we can go for days and days and days and days and talk about his personal life and how guys, especially in the black culture, how they view Russell Wilson, okay? And we can talk about that all day. But this is Everything Football. I deal with football. I don't give two shits about his personal life. I don't care. I've never cared. Even as a kid, I never cared. I'm concerned with football. The only time I really got into my feelings about certain things was some years ago I was in high school, when I think Bruce Smith and Lawrence Taylor got sniped about the whole drug thing. And I'm like, especially for LT, I'm like, dude, you're throwing this shit away. Because I'm like, are they doing this drug testing? I'm like, what's going on? And Bruce Smith, who between that and going through a weight problem, being like 300 pounds coming out of Vitech. And, of course, them guys get their thing together and they're one of the best at their positions. But I don't care about off-the-field incidents. Remember, you're dealing with cats that's in their 20s making millions of dollars. Okay, got that. And now you having these guys, Richard Sherman, Gonzo, players that I definitely like, respect their games and whatnot. Two Hall of Famers, obviously. Richard Sherman probably getting there a little bit later on. Gonzo, I don't think he's in there yet, but he's about to be in there. Not sure. I put him as the top tight end because this guy played with I don't know how many different quarterbacks. Put up like a rack of 900 yards and then 4,000 or 5,000 yards receiving, and he played. He was durable and everything like that. That's why I put him up there. Everybody want to put Gronk. Oh, you blocked. Gronk had about a 4 or 5 year run, which is enough. He won 3 or 4 Super Bowls. Got that. But when you talk about the durability and somebody that's been around the game a long time and did what they did, I'm going to always take Gonzalez. I say because not being in that whirlpool means something to me. But we're going to stop this bullshit hate with Russell Wilson. We're going to stop this, and I'm going to end this shit today. Today. I actually did a show on this a couple of years ago, back in 2022, I think, when he went to Denver. And how he was playing. He wasn't playing very good and stuff like that. But that's really not the issue. But as I tell you guys all the time, numbers online get emotional, people do. Let me do this. Let's go ahead and do this since we're on this. 10 years in Seattle. Sleepless in Seattle. This young man is a young man to me. 104, 53 and 1. 3,079 completions, 4,735 attempts, a 65% passing completion ratio, 37,059 yards, 292 touchdowns, 87 picks. Considered in their franchise. He's the best quarterback in their franchise. I don't think there's no argument about that. No argument about that. If there is, who else? Don't tell me shit about Jim Zorn. I like Jim Zorn. Matter of fact, the first jersey I ever got, Sears catalog, it was so funny. Sears catalog was that, I was like, I want that jersey right there. I'm a Starch Cowboys fan, but I used to love the Seahawks colors. And I remember I said, Sears catalog, my mom she ordered me a Seattle Seahawks jersey. And this is how cold-blooded my mom was. I get the jersey. Jersey, it's the Seahawks colors and whole 9 yards. No number. And I'm like, Mom, where's the numbers? You ain't asked for no numbers. That was my first thing about I dealt with that shit. There's no number. Sears catalog. For all them cats is like 50 plus and shit like that. Everybody remember the Sears catalog. Okay? And I liked it because I used to love Jim Zorn and Steve Largent connection. I just thought that was dope. And he was a left-hander. And Steve Largent, one of my favorite receivers. He's tough as nails, man. God was tough as nails. One of my favorite receivers. And that's why he's in that he's in that class. But then Russell Wilson came along. They've had other quarterbacks. I said, Russell Wilson, I'm like, he's done everything. He owns everything in that particular franchise. 104, 53, and 1. I've already went through all this. Went through all this. What are we talking about? That, his 10 years in Seattle is Hall of Fame. Like it or lump it. Let's dig a little bit deeper. He's number 3 considered in the 50 greatest going to their 50th anniversary. It's kind of all over the place, so I'm not going to go into all of that. But as I've said before, it's like, why? Because what people tend to have an issue with is because of his demeanor. He obviously is a religious guy. He wants to... I don't care about what his wife does or where his wife is at. I don't care who she was dealing with. Everybody knows that. What is this guy? This guy's a 10-time fucking Pro Bowler, 9 times with Seattle. 2-time NFC champion. Walter Payton Award. All-Pro second team. One of the first, because nobody wants to say this, but I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all this right now. You're talking about someone starting. Remember Matt Flynn? Y'all remember Matt Flynn, right? Okay, he got this big contract because Aaron Rodgers was hurt. He threw for 300-400, a record at Green Bay, and he get this big contract to go to Seattle. Okay? Russell Wilson comes in 2012, takes a position at 24, and it's like, it's mine for the next 10 years. Now, everybody wants to talk about the situation about the Super Bowl. That's offensive coordinators. Pete Carroll, that's what they did. And somebody like, if I'm not mistaken, when that play happened, Chris Carter, who's as raw as they can get. I love fucks with Chris Carter. Because Chris Carter is real as they can get because he's been through everything imaginable as a football player coming from Ohio State, Philly, and then Minnesota. The best hands, to me, ever in the game. That's my humble opinion. He said, why didn't the receiver break on the fucking ball? Go back and look at it. I digress. So you mean to tell me, so Richard Sherman, Marshawn Lynch, who's the main people to talk shit about, so you had talking shit. So you got Tony Gonzalez and that of Richard Sherman talking about, oh, they ain't done. I said, how many Super Bowls has Marshawn Lynch, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman won since they left the 49ers, since they left the Seahawks? 0. Just like that of Buddy Ryan, Mike Dicker, we haven't won a Super Bowl apart from each other since we won one together. I told you guys back in, it should have been, what, 2020? They went 12-4. And they hit some lumps. And my man asked, hey, look, can I have an input on the offense? And all of a sudden, they said, he tripping. We need to get rid of him. But hold on, let me get this straight. Get rid of him because he simply asked for an input on offense, and he's been in this fucking franchise for over 10 years, for over a decade. What is the problem? 9 years. What is the problem? Why can't he have that? There was a time when old school quarterbacks, they ran their own fucking plays. Okay. Then he goes to Denver. Sean Payton doesn't want him. The other coach behind didn't want him and whatnot and stuff like that. He goes to Pittsburgh. He starts 11 games, 6-5. Playoffs. Pro Bowl. Even though Pro Bowls ain't shit nowadays. He's no good. Did you see him against Dallas when he had time? He had no time against Washington. None. But we're going to see what Jackson does. It doesn't matter. Do you know how many young quarterbacks were killed for his resume? So Richard Sherman, because this shit is personal, dude. Them cats, Marshawn, Richard Sherman, man, that shit's personal, dude. And that's a cultural thing dealing with that of Russell Wilson. It's a cultural thing. And I can get into all that, but I really don't want to go into all that. I want to stay strictly football. And you, Shannon Cross, well, football, he's a dog. Ain't that what we supposed to be talking about? Why are you worried about who he fucking? Who he got kids by? Future. All that stupid shit. Future up, yeah. Future fuck around and try to sit up there and grab and fuck with goddamn, and fuck with Russell Wilson on some squabble shit. Future's ass going down. And I put money, I put my last check on that. But that brother ain't about that. He ain't about that. So this is what I'm going to do. And to show you the hypocrisy of the NFL and how this is some black shit and we go into some white shit, let's do this. Phillip Rivers, 8-time Pro Bowler. He's never made an All-Pro team. Good quarterback, hell of a quarterback. That 2003 class, I believe, with Eli and Big Ben. Okay? 134, 106. 63,440 yards, 421 yards, touchdowns, and 209. I'm like, this man has 10 kids? Married. He was making trips when they moved from San Diego to LA. Then he ended up playing in Indianapolis. I've never heard one time other white ball players talk shit about him. Never. Never heard of it. A lot of black cats come from broken families. It is what it is. But you never heard anything like that. You never heard that particular type of visceral type shit that goes on with when they talk about that of Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, 2-parent household, all that. I come from a 2-parent household. My father said they come from a family of 14. Been working on his own since he was 16. My old man is 80 years old. So, I think Russell Wilson's father died this and the other and all that. He played in South Carolina. Not South Carolina. It was at NC State. And played at Wisconsin. He's a Badger. He went to play baseball. Hell of an athlete. Why is it a problem? His stats speak for themselves. Let's do this. This guy. Warren Moon. So Warren Moon, Hall of Fame, 9-time Pro Bowler. All-Pro second team 1 time. Offensive Player of the Year 1 time. Warren Moon, 102 and 101. That's his record. Warren Moon throws some of the prettiest balls ever. So did Russ. But we don't hear anything about that of Warren Moon. But y'all want to pick apart because remember, it was no social media and all that shit back during that time. Even with Phillip Rivers, the point I'm making is that why y'all fucking with him for that? Now we all know what happened with that of Warren Moon, him and his wife got into it, blah blah blah. He was in Minnesota, some shit happened, blah blah blah. He lost his shit and almost went to jail. Everything was cool, got it out the way and stuff like that, and whatnot. Russell Wilson don't even have that issue. He don't even have that issue. Try to say he's not a Hall of Famer? Why you hold him up to this particular esteem? No tattoos. None of that. He let his hair grow out. He is that of part of Jamaican, West Indian, and all that stuff like that, da-da-da, and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, what are we talking about? But because Russell is a guy who is obviously religious, positive, it's people in the black culture have issues with that. They want some ghetto shit to go down. And he's not giving them that. Pretty much same with RG3. I don't hear other white players shitting on Phillip Rivers, shitting on people like Kirk Cousins, Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, even with Tom Brady with his messy shit. His bitch was fucking the fucking pool guy. She wanted him to fucking retire because he ain't spending enough. See, that's what I'm saying. There's no, I don't want more tangent on this, but it's like, this is the type of shit that we're talking about. And she got a kid within about a year or so of Brady, and this bitch clowns him. But because Brady had 6, 7, whatchamacallits, Super Bowls, nobody says anything. I don't hear Will Compton and my man over there and Pat McAfee and all them going in on this guy. But yet you got Shannon Crowder, you got Ryan Clark, you got Fred Taylor. Fred Taylor don't say too much or whatever like that. And talking shit about that of Russell Wilson. What more of a stand-up guy do you want to be? It was a time in the NFL that because the quarterback, you held him to a particular esteem. He holds himself up to that. Tell me, because up until last year with Bo Nix and that of Peyton, that hadn't been the process with 2015, 2016. Show me anywhere that they were supposed to be what? Oh, we plug Russell Wilson in there, we're going to win a Super Bowl. That team those teams was fucking horrible. And Russell did sit up there and didn't play great ball. I said, but to sit up there and try to negate him from the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you're out of your fucking mind. So we're going to negate the 10 years, the decade over there in Seattle? It's at least 4. I'm going to say Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Bobby Wagner, and that's 3. And the 4th on offense, oh shit, I'm sorry, Russell Wilson. They have at least 4 Hall of Famers on that team, and one of them is Russell Wilson. So you can talk that shit. He's the best quarterback that franchise has ever seen. What the fuck are we talking about? He ain't a Hall of Fame coach. He playing himself. No, he's not. And everybody got this shit to say. Richard Sherman and all them, Tony Gonzalez and all them guys. I said, yeah, okay, well, yeah. But nobody talks about that of Richard Sherman and the back and forth he had going on that time, drunk at fucking around with his father-in-law. Because if that was me, I ain't going to be going to all that. And then I think some other DUI shit or whatever like that. Russell Wilson clean as a fucking whistle. What's the problem? I know what it is. You know, I know exactly what it is. He ain't gangster. Fuck that. That gangster shit has overlapped over into today's culture and think that that's supposed to be something. Or Future will do this. Future fuck around and grab Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson the goddamn dirt roll his motherfucking ass. I'll put money, I'll put my last check for my daughter on that. But Russell Wilson ain't gonna never go down that road. He's over in New York. Oh, Jackson Dart. I'm like, okay. All right. Chris Carter summed it up great. Is he fair? Yeah, no, but he will be a great, because of his attitude, he will be a great backup for that of somebody like a Jackson Dart, who almost fucked up his career trying to form somebody when he's making because he's all hyped. I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. He ran the ball. He just completely ran the ball. Nobody wants to talk about the trash of an offensive line that they have. Oh, he get the hype. Okay, well, hype is cute. In the end, you got to still execute. So where did we get there? So you going to tell me Russell Wilson? Hall of Fame resume. You go to the Pro up there. Big Ben, 6 or 7 time Pro Bowler, 2 Super Bowl champions. He didn't do much in the Super Bowl. His first one that he won and whatnot, he wasn't very good. Second one, very good. But again, Russell Wilson's a Hall of Famer. In my opinion, first ballot Hall of Famer. You go 10 Pro Bowls, come on. All Pro second team. Walter Payton win award. He's man. So you mean to tell me this guy has thrown for 26, 20, 34, 21, 34, led the league, 35, 31, 40, 25, 16, 26 with Denver with a 7-8 record. 63, 353 fucking touchdowns. You want to talk shit about Russell Wilson? Okay. So for all those who want to talk shit about Russell Wilson, numbers don't lie and get emotional. People do. First ballot Hall of Famer. At the very least, second ballot. But I'm gonna say first ballot. It's basic more than that. Everybody's not going to be Tom Brady. We seen what. So Aaron Rodgers is trying to make amends. His first 2 years with that of the New York Jets was horrible. What are we talking about? So again, that's what I'm saying. So when we talk about that of Russell Wilson, put some respect on that cat's name. One of the top 20 quarterbacks of all. No, he's not on Mount Rushmore. I told you guys about the whole thing about with Drew Brees. Drew Brees went to a phase of 3 consecutive losing seasons. And you look at it, 7 seasons where it wasn't really winning. Nobody says anything about that. Go look it up. Matter of fact, 7 to 8 seasons, him and even Cam Newton was neck and neck. That's what people don't want to see. You pick and choose who the fuck you want to fuck with. So don't tell me nothing about Russell Wilson. Love the guy, love his attitude, love everything he's done. He leaves it out on the field. He doesn't throw players under the fucking bus when he actually can. Now, does he ask for this and that and that and this and this or all the other? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Russell Wilson, one of the best quarterbacks that ever played that position. And his numbers, he has a championship. He has two NFC championships. He has a Super Bowl. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Fine. That's a coach's decision. But I told you guys back in 2020, 2021, when he simply asked, can I have an input on the offense? And they literally told him no. Also, Deshaun Watson, when they was getting rid of everybody, y'all getting rid of everybody, let me go then. And those guys' careers have not been the same since. Just because they asked for some fucking help, that tells you what you're dealing with. But I'm not going to try to play into that. I'm going to let it alone. So all you jokers running around there talking shit about Russell Wilson, numbers don't lie and get emotional. Y'all can read the whole thing here, go and look at it and stuff like that, or whatever with Russell Wilson. One of the best that ever did it. And one of the best dual threat. His first 5 or 6 years in the league, he's throwing for over 3,000 yards, averaging about right at 550 yards rushing. Altogether, at least about 30 touchdowns. talking about here? What the fuck are we talking about here? We're talking about quarterbacks, and at the end of the day, guys like with the Cam Newton, Vince Young, all them guys, dual threat quarterbacks and whatnot, and what they do. Now, it's all about that. But it was frowned upon during the time when I was coming up. I'm 57 years old. During the time I was coming up, no. We're not having those black quarterbacks come in and do this, that, and that. Black quarterbacks always ran. Fuck it. I got time, cuz. Like I said, go back to Warren Moon throwing the prettiest ball. Warren Moon, 102 and 101. A passing savant. 291 touchdowns. Houston, Minnesota, Seattle, Kansas City. Similar. I told you guys a few weeks ago, a couple of months ago, I should say, probably. Even with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is today's Russell Wilson. This kid don't do nothing but win. Russell Wilson did nothing but win. What the fuck do you want him to do? But nobody talks about Phillip Rivers. Nobody talks about Kirk Cousins. Nobody talks about... I even heard him do something. Oh, the great career that Matthew Stafford is having. For a decade, he was a fucking loser. For a fucking decade. And I like Matthew Stafford. He was just in a position he played a sorry-ass franchise. Stop it. Be fair when the criticism comes in. Go across the board. Don't just stop at one spot. Go across the board. Okay? So now let me get back down to my quote-unquote picks and whatnot, because I told y'all about that. Your boy ended up finishing like 12-3-1 with his picks last week and whatnot. I told you guys off the rip who was going to win, who wasn't going to win, or whatever. I did lose that whole Arizona. Arizona had it. Arizona should be 4-0. Kyler Murray. Pittsburgh, I told y'all about that. Cam Ward. Some guy, I see he made shit. He was talking about, about the other quarterback that got drafted and stuff like that. Who's that, and this is that, and the other. Yeah. We'll see what ends up happening. CJ Stroud had to have that win. Philly and Tampa. You got AJ Brown bitching and complaining on Twitter. Why are these guys on fucking Twitter? Why are they bitching and complaining? What is wrong with these guys? New York, LA, Jacksonville. Oh, he did this, he did that. Okay. Well, Malik Neighbors is out, I think, for the year. We'll see. Carolina, Detroit. I like Detroit. Detroit plays football the way the football is supposed to be played. And I definitely like them. Sort of kind of remind me of the teams of Dallas of the 90s. Buffalo, yeah, of course. Even though New Orleans had a chance, quarterback situation issues. Daniels is hurt and lost. I picked him. I picked Atlanta. Jacksonville, San Francisco. Love the fact that San Francisco lost. Jacksonville, Sunshine's looking pretty good. Travis Etienne, he's doing his thing. Indianapolis should have won. Number 10, little advice, bruh. Little advice for the wide receiver, number 10, who made 2 critical plays. He held on a long game, I think on the kickoff return, and then had a touchdown and celebrated before time. Ball comes out his fucking hand. Touchdown, touchback. What are you guys doing? That's what cost him the fucking game. Chicago and Las Vegas. I think I said Chicago. Is what it is. I said Geno Smith had his time. Baltimore, Kansas City. My man got all his weapons. Y'all better watch out for Kansas City. He got all his weapons now. It's a problem. Might be going for 4. Dallas Green Bay should never be a fucking tie. One of the guys was talking shit. I said, should never be a tie. Should never be a fucking tie in the NFL. Play till somebody win. So let me get before I move on. Let me get this straight. So because of the epic game of a few years ago, Mahomes got the ball back. They changed the rules. They changed the fucking rules. Your defense has to make a fucking stop. So there's no. Football's turning such a bitch ass sport nowadays. Ty. Tyreek Hill, I had big things for Tyreek Hill of breaking certain records, doing certain things, putting himself on another level for his Hall of Fame career. Now it's going to be on the hold because he dislocated his fucking knee and he's dealing with outside issues, baby's mama's drama. We'll see what happens with that. Denver, Cincinnati. What did I tell y'all about Cincinnati? Why is this a surprise to anybody? Told y'all. Why is this a fucking surprise with anybody? This is their franchise. This is what the fuck they do. This is what they do. So, again, I'll come back tomorrow and I'll break down, I think it should be week 5, I believe. And I'll sit up there and give my picks during that time. But I'm like, leave Russell Wilson alone. He's done everything. He's one of the top players in that franchise history. He got every record and whatnot. Future Hall of Famer. Richard Sherman and all them guys have issues with him. They need to work that shit out. Because sooner or later, the 20th year anniversary of their Super Bowl victory against Denver is going to come up, and they're going to have to sit up there and sit in the room and whatever. Richard Sherman, Bobby Wagner, Marshawn Lynch, all them guys. They didn't win without. They haven't won a Super Bowl without him, and he hasn't won without them. He hasn't won one without them. So what the fuck does that tell you about them? Those guys just hatred, man. It's hate, and it's sad. It's sad, and then it goes into this cultural thing with black folk. Stop the bullshit, man. This man. Everything that any man that has a fucking daughter would want somebody to marry somebody like him. I don't care about all that other shit with his wife. Pick what he picked, man. That's a whole nother story. He picked who he picked. So let's stop the shit, man. Let's stop the shit. Hey, man, like I tell you guys all the time, numbers online get emotional. People do. There's no greatest of all time as long as time is still going on. We'll see y'all jokers tomorrow. Y'all have a good one.